few weeks ago, the death of a former National Adjutant, Denville D. Dale Adams, cast a shadow over this year of achievement. Dale was a powerful force in the DAV during his lifetime. Both idealistic and pragmatic, he became one of the most influential leaders in the history of the DAV. He represented the finest leadership traits within our organization and served as a model for generations of DAV leaders. Dale helped define the purpose of DAV and worked diligently to fulfill our mission of building better lives for America's disabled veterans. Professionally and privately, Dale lived and breathed the DAV with a sense of compassion, determination, common sense, and toughness that moved others to champion our cause of service for hope for disabled veterans and their families.
Dale Adams, a titan in the world of Veterans Affairs, departed from this life on July 9, 2010. The veterans movement as we know it today would be unrecognizable without daring men like Dale Adams. Mr. Adams was a member of the Disabled American Veterans professional staff for 43 years and led the organization's national staff for more than a quarter of a century. He was a self-made man who carried an inspiring vision for America's disabled veterans. A service-connected disabled veteran of World War II, Mr. Adams enlisted in the United States Army in 1938, serving in the South Pacific with the 82nd Field Artillery, 1st Cavalry Division. Immediately following his discharge in 1944, he joined DAV as a life member of Chapter 16 in Pontiac, Michigan, serving as chapter adjutant for 2 years. Dale Adams joined the DAV's professional staff as a National Service Officer in Detroit after his 1945 graduation from the American University in Washington, D.C., where he studied veterans programs. He was appointed to National Service Director at the DAV's Washington headquarters in 1960. The following year, another appointment brought him to national headquarters in Cincinnati as Assistant National Adjutant. After 6 months in that position, he accepted duties as National Adjutant. The challenges then were daunting because the DAV faced many problems in the 1960s. The organization was going downhill fast and facing a severe financial crisis. The DAV's credibility with Congress was suffering. But Dale Adams was up to all the challenges. He brought to the job a commitment to effective business practices. He didn't try to do it alone. He was a team builder. Drawing on skills he learned in the service, he moved boldly to assemble the professional management group needed to move forward. He hired skilled money managers to handle the organization's finances. He brought experienced public relations talent on board to restore the DAV's image with the American public and its own members, and he assembled a fundraising team that brought fresh revenue into the organization. Membership growth saw immediate effects. During Mr. Adams's years as National Adjutant, the DAV experienced a 5-fold increase in membership and surpassed the elusive 1 million member mark. Just as important, the National Service Officer Corps regained their confidence once Mr. Adams was in the saddle at national headquarters. He pulled the DAV back from the brink of disaster. He then transformed it into the fastest-growing, most progressive, most effective veteran service organization America has ever known. His primary concern was always service to disabled veterans and their families. This emphasis on service readied the DAV's Corps of NSOs for the challenge they faced just a few years later, when American involvement in Vietnam mushroomed into a full-blown war. If some organizations were slow to bring Vietnam vets into their ranks, Dale Adams made sure the DAV was quick about it. It was the beginning of a new era for our organization, and the veterans movement in this country would not be what it is today without the men and women of integrity and commitment led by Dale. As the protracted war in Southeast Asia wound down, new needs emerged. Mr. Adams decided to send office-equipped mobile vans to provide DAV's free services to the communities where veterans lived, and the Field Service Unit program was born. When no other organization would do so, Mr. Adams successfully pressed for funding of the groundbreaking Forgotten Warrior Project to address the challenge of post-traumatic stress disorder. For growing numbers of aging vets from the World Wars and Korea, he created the Older Veterans Assistance Program. Mr. Adams's skill and innovation came to the fore when the VA cut funding for a program that reimbursed veterans for the cost of their travel to and from VA medical facilities. Under Mr. Adams's leadership, the DAV organized a nationwide transportation network in 1987 and put in place a corps of hospital service coordinators at VA facilities to manage the program. Mr. Adams's imagination continually took the DAV into new territory. Seeing the need for up-to-date facilities, he spearheaded the construction of modern headquarters buildings in Washington and Cincinnati. In recognition of his distinguished service, the DAV National Service and Legislative Headquarters building in Washington, D.C. was renamed in his honor in 1989. Dale Adams served as National Adjutant from 1962 until his retirement in 1988. That turned out to be a temporary departure, however. As a testament to his dedication, he was called out of retirement in 1993 to lead a historic restructuring of the DAV. It is astounding how much this one man accomplished during his career. Denville D. Dale Adams was a man who believed that one person can make the world better, and he had the gritty determination to make it so. For over 45 years, he kept faith with those who bear the scars of war. He represented the best in all of us, and we are the beneficiaries of his legacy. He made a significant impact on thousands of lives, and we know that we are better off for the path he walked during his lifetime. Beyond any doubt, he was born to lead and born to lead the DAV. We mourn his passing and celebrate his life's work on behalf of America's disabled veterans and their families.
The veterans movement as we know it would not exist today without men like Dale, men of integrity and courage who are absolutely committed to our cause. Dale was responsible for many remarkable innovations during his decades with DAV. Among the most important was making our organization a home for veterans of the Vietnam War. It was Dale's forward thinking that brought Vietnam veterans into the DAV, and I was privileged to be the first Vietnam veteran that Dale brought into the National Service Officer Trainee Program in 1966. 10 years later, I joined him as part of our management staff in Washington, D.C. And today, there are more than 466,000 Vietnam veterans in our organization, and they make up about 40% of our membership. Sadly, we'll all miss Dale's leadership, and I will miss his friendship and his confidence. He was a close and dear friend to me over the years, and I was in awe of his leadership, but I was most grateful for his friendship. Dale's loss is felt most deeply by his family and his lovely wife, Kay. They spent 29 years together in a devoted partnership that included the steadfast love for DAV. Kay Adams is with us this evening. Please recognize her with your grateful appreciation. Kay, would you stand, please? Thank you, Kay, for all that you did for Dale and for the DAV. We all know that the DAV took up a great deal of his life and that you, too, gave of yourself and your heart for our organization. We are lucky that Dale's legacy will always remain a central part of the DAV. Our headquarters in Washington bears his name in honor of his contribution and achievements. His brave spirit will remain as an integral part of DAV, and his compassion shown to so many will neither be forgotten nor diminished by the passage of time. It is those who knew him and loved him, who pay tribute to him today, that have suffered such a great loss. He'll be missed by us, but his heart beats on with us in the courage of a lion and the strength of a giant. While Dale's life has ended, his legacy will live on in countless ways. His spirit continues to guide the DAV, and his accomplishments have set our course into the future. If you would, please rise, if you're able, for a moment of silent tribute to a giant in the veterans community, Denville Dale Adams. Thank you so much.